everybody? Welcome back to the Homestand Show. Albert Vartanian, James Sharman, Noor Zainab, Justin Pooney in the building, and we got a ton to talk about.
Welcome
today.
back, guys, first of all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Did you miss us?
No.
I did.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It gave me the chance to run the show, so I was,
Yeah.
I was the captain.
I know Justin feels demoted right now.
Producer Ellie just said you were killing it. Not in a good way.
No, I was actually.
That's
Because he put
throwing
emphasis on
shade
it.
right away.
You're killing it.
You're killing.
Don't
it.
kill it.
Self-
No, not killing it. No, killing
Yeah,
it.
Sharm's back from Portugal. The stomach's feeling a little queasy. I'm back from Mexico. The stomach is in shambles right now. Today's not too bad, but it was pretty bad.
Any more details you want to share?
No, I don't.
Did you wear jorts?
Oh my God! You know what? I have a story.
Okay, let's hear it.
And
Another.
Not the jort story again.
kind of.
Oh!
But I can't. I'm not telling it. I'm not telling
Oh,
it.
you already told us the worst.
One day I will tell this story.
Okay.
It's pretty embarrassing. It was just I was in the room alone and I was on the bed and something happened.
No, you didn't.
Yeah.
Stop it.
It actually happened.
Did you leave
Dude,
a good-
it was. I had traveler's
Did you
diarrhea.
leave a good tip for the maids, though?
Oh yeah, they
Yeah, I
got
hope
tipped
so.
well. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, but please.
I had to roll up the sheets.
I'll give you a tip. Don't,
You got on
don't
the
clean
plane
this room.
after that too. You're sick.
No. I was.
gonna-
That was like midway through. So I took a shower, went to the beach, cleaned up. You know what I'm saying? That's how I usually go. James Sharman.
We just got
Yeah,
back. I know.
yeah, dude.
I know. You're right.
By the way, I just want to say these chairs are phenomenal. We got new chairs with some cushion. Okay. Shout out to
Shout out
producer
to Big
Ellie,
Ellie. He
who
wants
just,
to be known as Big
who
Ellie.
just blew my eardrum.
Ellie is actually in our earpiece saying, shout out to Ellie.
Yeah. Shout out to Ellie. Okay, so listen, there's a ton to talk about. Where should we start? We got James Harden, not James Sharman. James Harden, essentially calling out his owner. Mbappe, I think, is back with PSG. Neymar is going to Saudi Arabia. We got old swamp ass Lucas Glover winning his second PGA
man.
Tour title in a row. What else we got?
We got
Krejci's
Man United is
retired.
playing Wolves right as we
Yes.
speak.
United
I'm
Wolves are
watching
happening.
this.
Got some NFL preseason. Harry Kane went to Bayern Munich, which
I heard you could. What
Deeply
hurt
disappointed
more?
me.
Your stomach virus or Kane going to Bayern?
no, but I knew the Kane thing was happening. There was like 3 or 4 years in the making. It's like, when is he going to leave?
Okay.
And finally it happened. It just sucks that it happened right before the season started. We can get into that, but I think we start with James Harden, right? All right, so here, let's roll the clip. Here's James Harden in China. He had some things to say about Daryl Morey.
Daryl Morey is a liar, and I will never be a part of an organization that he's a part of. Let me say that again. Daryl Morey is a liar, and I will never be a part of an organization that he's a part of.
All right, so in case you didn't hear what he said there, the audio wasn't great. He said, Daryl Morey is a liar, and I will never be a part of an organization that he's a part of. Let me say that again. Daryl Morey is a liar, and I will never be a part of an organization that he's part of. So this is James Harden, once again, trying to force a trade. That was in China, and there's a longer clip where the people there start clapping.
What else?
After he said cheering, and
What
they're
did-
probably like, what is this guy talking about?
Did you see the reception he got in China when he got off the plane a couple
Oh,
days
he's
ago?
loved
Oh, yeah.
over
He's a
there.
superstar
Yeah.
there.
But there's
right?
like kids around, like, okay, are you gonna dunk? Are you gonna take a shot? Like, what do you mean? Who are you talking about? Daryl Morey? Like,
Yeah.
they're so confused about it, which is the funniest thing to me. But on top of that as well, if you know Daryl Morey's history, you know he doesn't get along with China that well. So the fact that Harden flew all the way to the other side of the world to have a press conference amongst kids, and before he went there to make a shot, a dunk, whatever, he said, Daryl Morey is not a good person, and I won't be on this team again. But then he said again, let me repeat. The fact that he repeated himself, that it's not a joke, this is not a fluke, it's not a problem. I want this to be out there that I don't want to be on a team with him again. And I mean, both of them have been wrong in their own ways, but I'm just happy because I thought the NBA was getting soft. I'm like, where's the drama? And finally this morning I
Too
woke
much
up.
drama.
6 o'clock in the morning.
It's a soap opera in the off season. But let me just give a quick timeline of how things kind of went down. In June, Harden decided to opt into his $36.5 million deal because Philly reportedly was going to work out a trade. That didn't happen. August 12th, which was Saturday, a report from The Athletic said the Sixers were officially ending trade talks and expecting Harden to be at training camp. And now this happens. So where do you want to start here with James Harden?
I think we got to go all the way back to last offseason when James Harden took a massive haircut to stay with the Philadelphia 76ers, a pay cut haircut. It's it's the slangs with the
He
kid
did
just
shave actually at one point, didn't he?
I don't think he's ever going to shave anymore.
Have you
He
seen
got
him without the
smaller, though.
beard?
The beard got smaller.
Very strange.
You got to obviously clean it up and
Yeah.
shape
He
it
doesn't
up.
maybe
look
that's
like
what you meant
himself
by
at
that.
all without
Anyway.
that beard.
Wow.
regardless of James Harden's hairstyles, I don't like the dreads. He should have kept with the mohawk.
Okay, you're
but
bringing it
I'm
up.
just saying. Anyway, he took the massive pay cut to stay with the Sixers because to bring in a guy like PJ Tucker to build a championship roster. But then there was obviously the under the table deal with Daryl Morey, his boy from Houston, that he was going to recoup the money in the next contract, right? And that didn't happen.
No.
Harden requested a trade. That's why he opted in, so he could get traded because he wasn't probably going to get, the most amount of money in free agency, right? But at the end of the day, it's the fallbacks on James Harden. Had he played better in the playoffs, he probably would have got paid. He didn't show up in the playoffs when it matters the most.
I think it's not just the playoffs, though. I think it's just his history. Like, the fact that his pattern is, like, any team he goes to, there's a chance he might ask for a trade, or he'll take the young guys to the strip club that night. So he doesn't have the best, I guess I would say, just, like, the best kind of image around the league, which is why I could see where Daryl Morey might have had a hard time getting those offers and getting those trade packages going, because who really wants to take on Harden right now? He's also aging. His points have gone down each year. His passing has gone up, which is why I liked him in Philly. But now I'm wondering, what will Philly look like? Is Embiid gonna stay?
Do you think he was strategizing here? He chose China and the children to drop this bombshell, or was he asked a really probing question from a 6-year-old that conjured this response?
I have a feeling it was like, hey, Harden, we need a mic check. He's like, all right, I got some things to say. He just dropped that. This is like the 4th time he's done this.
Yeah.
OKC, Houston, the Nets.
He's poisoned.
OKC's a little bit different.
Okay, I was different. They didn't want to extend him.
China on purpose. This is like going to
all planned.
Walmart as a Target employee and talking shit about Target. Like that's what he
That's
did
so
with
true.
that. Like, he went to the audience where he's like, yes, no matter what I say, they're like, F Daryl Morey, they'll be on my side, no problem. And that's like what happened. Well, mind you, the kids there probably have no idea who Daryl Morey is, like what that team is.
They have no clue.
They're just applauding along, like, okay, this must be part of his spiel or his interview or whatever. But I don't think they knew what was going down. But it's just funny that he chose the halfway across the world to do this.
I really, really feel for 76ers fans. It's such a loyal fan base. Now that you go through this, then I kind of feel I hate him
Nick
because
Nurse?
he flops so much. I feel for Joel Embiid, and I also feel for Nick Nurse. Because right now, let me ask you the question, is the Sixers, if Harden leaves, and we don't know how this is all going to unfold, but is their season dead or alive before it even starts?
No, because you have Joel Embiid, right? You're still going to be...
But what if Embiid turns around and says, well,
okay,
this is not what I wanted. This is not what I expected.
We
Can
assume...
Embiid carry that team in a pretty decent Eastern
Well, I
Conference
think even
now,
with James
though?
Harden, even if they have James Harden, they run it back this year. Are they going to... Does anybody expect...
Don't act like James Harden wouldn't help Embiid.
Yeah, he's
going to
help, but
though, right?
in the Eastern Conference of the NBA right now, as Philly currently constructed, even with Harden, are they going to... Would you take them past Milwaukee, Boston, Dame Lillard when he goes to Miami?
Without Harden, are they even in the playoffs?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't think so.
I think so.
I don't think so, because you're relying on Joel Embiid
And you got Tyrese Maxey.
a rookie Tyrese Maxey. Joel Embiid can't stay healthy. He's been a couple of years, but he's not at his prime yet, anywhere close to it. And Harden, he needs to be healthy. Harden can't stay healthy for his life. So if you're relying on a Harden-led team to take you anywhere in the playoffs, the Raptors might give you a better shot with Siakam.
But what are his options now? Right, he's poison, right, around the league. Owners won't trust him. Teammates has shown in the past not always the best relationships. He can piss off the fan base. What was his options? He's an old guy now, right? Because he still got some game, clearly, but he wants out. I will not play for a franchise. Well, what are your options right now? Europe?
No, he's
But
too
really,
much of a talent.
look, the 24.7 a year, is that enough to convince someone
Well, if you're
to take a flight?
if you're another
still?
franchise,
We know-
there's no trade for him.
No,
Where's
but
the trade?
we know injuries are going to happen, and teams are going to get desperate in the NBA once the season
You
hits.
got to be really
Think about it like
desperate.
this, right? Philly with Ben Simmons, they made him sit at home for half the year.
Yeah.
He lost all that money. They'll do the same thing with James Harden. Okay, sit at home.
I actually don't get it, though, because I do think, from what I've seen him in the past couple of years on Philly, taking a backseat to Embiid, becoming more of a passer and not wanting the spotlight offensively, that's helped his game grow and the people around him grow. So I like the fit. The Clippers, I don't think the Clippers wanted him as bad as I thought. They could have used him because they don't really have a point guard, and he could have fit that mold there. But on top of that, though, I don't think any team is going to bring him on, because a contender is not going to want to have someone's image like James Harden on you. But also, a growing team, a rebuilding team is not going to want to have a veteran like James Harden around young guys, because that the work ethic that they want them to have, he might not be able to instill that the way that other veterans might be able
Also,
to.
he's going to cost a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's going to be a player in picks. Do you really want to give that up for James Harden?
I mean,
that's what
right
Clippers
now?
didn't want to do. Yeah,
Is
Clippers are
James
like
Harden the
nothing.
player that'll take a team over the top? I don't think so.
not at this particular state of his
So this
career,
is
no.
this is a position that he's in, and Daryl Morey, because Morey probably went out there and said, okay, he's available, and what he was getting back in terms of packages was
Precisely.
probably like, this is bullshit. I'm not taking
Yeah.
this for James Harden.
Yeah.
I'd rather have him just here and sit out. But it's Harden's fault at the same time. Was it 6-7 weeks ago? He decided to opt in. He didn't have to do that.
But he opted in.
I understand. Yeah, he probably got the handshake guarantee. We're going to work out a trade or whatever or we're going to bring in some pieces and make a real championship team with Nick Nurse and Embiid, yada yada yada. But at the end of the day, he signed that contract.
He did, but we
Yeah.
don't.
He
But it's
also-
the
go
NBA
ahead.
though. The contracts don't mean shit.
No, it's
in the
true.
NBA.
But it's-
Clearly,
he
I
must
mean, look
have
at the
known, though.
Lillard thing.
Yeah.
too,
When
right?
he opted in, though, he must have known. This is how sports works, right? His agent talks to teams.
Yeah.
He must have known there's deals in place that could be made. What happened in this 7 weeks?
When
to
we
make
look
that
what
deal
happened. So we
impossible?
took Fred VanVleet happened. That's exactly what happened. So remember, all the talk this year was that Harden's open to a reunion in Houston. Houston wants to bring him back. Once Ime Udoka signed up and became the coach of the Rockets, and his style of play was going to get implemented, you stopped hearing less and less about Harden, and they wanted Fred VanVleet.
So that's the one option was Houston.
That big contract he was going to get from
That was a
Houston
big one,
was
yeah.
gone, right? So he thought, okay,
Which again shows you like organizations around the league who want to pair their young guys with a good veteran mindset. They don't want James Harden around. Like that could have been their position beforehand, but when Ime Udoka got there, he's like, that's not my guy. I want a guy who will lead the locker room. And James Harden, like as great of a player as he is, off court, he's a whole different animal, like figuratively too probably. But you probably don't want to deal with that as a team.
Isn't the only solution here, which is best for the ownership and for him, is to stay in Philly, play really well, and then force a trade through your play? Isn't that the best solution here?
that's
for all
common
parties?
sense, but in the NBA, it's not common sense. Look,
Well, I think it's also because the players in this scenario, like I'm thinking what happened is, again, as he said, they made the deal. Harden said, okay, no matter what, like I'll get traded. But he doesn't understand that a lot of the times when the GM, well, every single time when the GMs make those decisions, it's about what's going to be the best in their interest. So they might not see what they will get back in value for James Harden. And to
Yeah.
him, it's like, I don't care. I want to be traded. So that's, I think, where he's not liking Daryl Morey. But like, you also can't fault Morey. Like, I'm not going to trade my superstar to you for a pick and a half, you know?
And going back to like the Houston thing and James Harden want to reunite in Houston, it tells you about James Harden. He does not care about winning a championship. It's all about the money. So if you're another team and you see that, over the years you've seen this from James Harden, who the hell is willing to take a chance? If you can somehow fleece the Sixers and bring him in, I think that's the only way. But that's not going to happen. There's a report that just came out from Jason Dumas saying Daryl Morey is unmoved by James's comments. He's holding firm in his stance that he will not trade him unless it makes the Sixers better. Meanwhile, he's told that James's agent advised him against making that statement.
of course, because now it tanks his value.
Yeah.
Right, but then again, he's the same guy that came in overweight in Houston, right? Was partying with like rappers, and,
suit.
yeah, it was wearing the fat suit, right? It's a part of James
He
Harden's
will go
thing.
to like the nth degree to get what he wants. He will do
Well,
that.
you see that a lot
and
in
it feels
sports
like at
right
this
now.
point, it's not good. It might not work this time. He's still
I
going to
don't
get paid, regardless. He's getting paid.
It's player power. He knows what he's doing, right?
God.
He'll get what he wants. You're right. He will
Yeah.
get his money.
He will.
But at
right?
this
and
point,
he's,
like,
and he's bending his owner over at this point, saying, "Just I'm going to disrespect you until you move me."
Well, the thing is, the worst part is Daryl Morey is the reason why James Harden is in Philadelphia. He left Houston as the president of basketball operations there, came to Houston, and he's the one who wanted James Harden because he built his whole system in Houston around Harden and thought he could recreate that here in Philly. And now that
I just love it. I like every demise of Philadelphia, no matter what. Like, keep it coming, keep it bringing. And the fact that Nick Nurse now has to deal with this is music to my ears. I love that he has to go to work and now wonder, wait, what's gonna happen with James Harden? What's gonna happen with Embiid? Like that to me,
he's used
I
to
love
it.
this.
Yeah.
used to
He
it,
went
whatever all
from one
last year.
shit
No,
show
he
to an
hasn't.
even bigger shit
Oh,
show in
massive.
Philadelphia.
No,
No, Justin, this shit
Come
shows.
on, this is a
Come-
big
the
deal.
Raptors are a
What
pretty
if-
big
I'm
shit
just
show
saying,
last
what-
year.
They were,
The
but what if in
Raptors
turn?
didn't have Joel Embiid and James Harden.
True.
This is a bigger shit show because now they leak everything.
true.
They put everything in the media.
We heard
Raptors
everything
at
from
and
the
least.
this is a
Raptors.
team that has
No,
expectations to win
Raptors-
the championship.
Exactly. Raptors, you were like able to speculate because nobody came to say anything. Philly, he came out and said, "F my GM."
They're
Like
both
they
shit
don't
shows.
keep, they
I'm
don't
not-
hold
they're
anything
both shit
back.
shows.
What if
I'm
Embiid comes out and says, "You know what? I don't care if James is staying or going. I'm done with this shit.
We've
I'm
heard that.
leaving.
We've heard that.
Send me
though.
New York."
We've heard the Knicks rumors. Again, we hear Knicks rumors with everybody, but it wouldn't surprise
Man,
any of us if Embiid decides that I'm done in Philly.
I sneaky love that Embiid
I
in
would.
New York.
I think
That's
he
nice.
should.
Dude, he'd be
When's the last time the Knicks had a legitimate MVP star?
Patrick Ewing?
That's a long time ago.
I mean,
In
they
the
had Carmelo too.
Yeah, but it wasn't.
But the thing at the
Embiid.
time when Melo went to New York, he was a top 5 player in the NBA.
Yeah.
Right? There was LeBron, D-Wade, Dwight, Carmelo.
And let's not forget, Melo was supposed to be Chris Bosh.
They had to gut the whole Knicks.
But Embiid's got a
organization.
connection also with Masai.
He's
We
not
have
coming to
a thing in
Toronto.
the contract.
He's not coming to Toronto.
Fred took that pay dip, remember?
Nope.
It still happened.
This whole Harden situation and the whole player situation with the player power is one of the reasons why I love the NBA, but it makes me hate it at the same time. Then you have Johnny Flat Earther coming out right now, Kyrie Irving.
Johnny Flat
he comments on Wojnarowski's tweet. He goes, "Is he disgruntled, Adrian, or is he holding Daryl Morey accountable for his dishonesty and lack of transparency throughout the contract negotiation process this summer?"
That's Kyrie.
Adrian.
Huh?
That's Kyrie, though.
Isn't this annoying to you? This is
what-
great for us to talk about, but it's so
Well, listen,
frustrating.
a week before you left, I left, right?
Yeah.
We were whining about how boring and
Yes,
how
exactly.
We had to
NBA
talk about
off-season
Shohei
was,
Ohtani.
where's the
Exactly.
news? Give us something. Well, we've been given something, and now you're already.
I will say this.
I was worried. I'm like,
No, I've
Kyrie
never
hasn't
liked this, though.
spoken in like a
Never
month.
liked
It's
it.
yeah,
been
because
too
have
long.
you been seeing his summer league footage? He's doing the summer. He's been hooping.
He can.
Well, but there's
He
no
showed
no
out.
sport in the world where the players transcend the sport, right? Other
Yeah.
than the NBA. These guys are bigger than the sport
Yeah,
itself.
they are.
And
Yeah.
the off season is almost as I don't know. You want to watch it as much as you want to watch regular season.
Oh my
Regular
goodness.
season is boring. Jeez, let's
That's
be honest
why
here.
this summer I was like, I don't hear. I woke up this morning, Christmas Day for me. I'm like, wow, James Harden went to China, talk shit about his GM. This is what I want to see because last year was all about Kyrie and KD, and I'm like, I know Kyrie's begging to talk about something, and James Harden, my man, gave him exactly a reason to get out there. and
Kyrie
speak.
couldn't stay quiet. He had to jump in.
he
I got to
had
jump
to.
in here.
You know
For
what?
the record, do you know the Earth isn't flat? You assume.
Can you prove that?
Some photographs you saw and
right.
been told. Just
Are we doing this right now?
yeah, we can do if you
Did
want.
we
on,
even
Sharks.
go on Moon?
Did we even go
I
on
don't
the
think.
moon?
Yeah.
I honestly think that's a conspiracy.
On the moon?
Yeah.
They filmed that in the
I
Hollywood
watched the
studios?
YouTube. The best argument is I watched a YouTube video one time, and I saw
Well, in
some
that
videos,
case,
and then
well,
listen.
The
it's
news,
fine.
the
stand corrected.
TikTok videos now.
What's the Well, the conspiracy theory that I live with is the Canucks got screwed out of the 2011 Stanley Cup. That's
That's the conspiracy
That's the one
theory that
conspiracy
everyone's
that's
talking
it's a
about.
fact. It's a fact.
Okay, what's next? You want to move on to Mbappe? Speaking of player
Well,
power,
it's very similar,
Yeah.
it is very similar.
right?
the
So-
dynamics of going
Mbappe-
back to a team?
Mbappe apparently is renegotiating a new deal with
Yeah.
PSG, which will see him stay there, having already told the club, I will not sign a new deal, and having been benched and sat aside saying, you're not playing this year. Now he's back in camp, and I wonder how that room's going to be when he returns. Is it going to be awkward? He's owned that room for a long time. The same day Neymar goes to Saudi
That's
Arabia.
what I wanted to ask. The same day Neymar leaves, Mbappe comes back. Was there a power dynamic struggle between those two?
There was, and Messi as well.
100%.
Yeah.
100%, yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Because Mbappe feels like he is the best player and he wants to be the number one guy. But Neymar wanted to be that guy. Messi wanted to be that guy. PSG they've always had that problem. Cavani wanted to be that guy. Ibrahimovic wanted to be that guy. That's why it never really worked out to try. How do you not win the Champions League or at least get to the final with Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe?
Coaching.
Yeah, that
Come
was
on,
nuts.
dude.
Coaching, man.
It's not coaching. It's the
So
players.
I posed this question to Sarah Pararia last week when you guys were gone. If City goes on, wins the Prem for the fourth straight year, wins the back-to-back Champions
incredible,
Leagues.
by the way.
If I'm PSG and the owners with deep pockets, do I call Pep Guardiola, back up, just give him whatever you want, write him a blank check to come and fix
But
PSG?
how has that worked to you in the beginning? Because if you're
'Cause they
keep
never
signing
really-
on stars, it's not about because I think like
But Pep's
you can't.
but Pep will organize that
No, you also
franchise.
have to sign Tichy Bukestein behind the scenes, who's
Yeah.
Pep's boy, who brings the players in
Mm-hmm.
and formulates the plan, the strategy, right? This is more than just superstars.
Yeah.
Pep's always done that. At Barcelona, of course, he inherited some superstars, but he brought in some really good players in right positions. Same at Man City, same at Bayern Munich. That's what he does. As opposed to PSG, just want to play, Galactico football, best player available, and it doesn't work in sports,
No.
especially in soccer, right? You got three guys up front, Neymar, Messi, and Mbappe, who great players, don't defend. Not one of them. They're lazy, wonderful footballers. It doesn't work, right? So I think, this guy's every summer there's something. He works it, he leverages to get more money for himself. He wants Real Madrid probably next year, but if he gets a deal signed with PSG, then they'll get a transfer fee for him next year. So he's looking out for them. I do wonder how Real Madrid feel about this.
You can't let him walk for free. That just can't happen. But back to the Pep Guardiola thing. What does Pep do? As good as he is as a manager, they sign the best players for him. And PSG have decided not to go the Galactico approach anymore. They want to go younger and build that way. But I think that's just a cover up for saying we're dealing with financial fair play. Like, look who's leaving. Verratti's gone. Paredes is gone. Neymar's gone. Messi's gone. Ramos is gone. So they have to fill their squad with players that are not going to cost them as much, right? So I don't know if that's going to work. Maybe a few years down the line. But at the same time, listen, you can't just spend money and assume that you're going to win. It doesn't happen. They proved it.
You must have a strong room, though, because when James Harden returns, having said these things about his ownership, and when Mbappe returns, having said, I don't want to play for PSG, there's going to be some discomfort there in that room. You've got to have a real strong room to deal with that, I think. It can work because they're both very good players. This guy's maybe the best player in world football. Harden's not the best player in the NBA, but he's still pretty good.
It's the same thing with Siakam as well, right? If Siakam now is going to be they're ending the trade talks, they want to bring him back. It's the same thing. I think it goes through every sport, crosses every league where you get put in trade talks. The franchise put you there. They never came to any conclusion with that, and now you have to go back in the same locker room with the same people who are above you, your employers, and kind of have that relationship again. So how do you trust that? How do you like each other again? And I
think part of it though is modern athletes know each other. They're professionals. It's about what can you get for yourself. They do understand that, I think.
Yeah.
If you can get more money, good for you. You know, they're all mercenaries at heart. Let's be honest here. Don't be a dickhead in the room, then we'll call you out, right? But as long as you're scoring goals, if he comes back after saying whatever he wants, but scores 30 goals next year,
all is well.
Yeah, all is well. Who cares? You know.
I think, like you mentioned, like they need to have strong leadership in the locker rooms. And you look at the PSG locker room; he's the head of the snake. He's the leader of it, right? You look in Philly. It's James Harden is the second in command to Joel Embiid's team, right? And you could see fractions in divisions and stuff like that. But I think when it comes to pro sports, as James mentioned, it's a business, right? These guys know. Mbappe knows if he doesn't perform well this year, then Real Madrid doesn't have to buy him next year, or whoever.
But they would anyway.
No, you think so?
Absolutely, yeah.
But he might make less money.
He might make less money or whatever. If James Harden doesn't show up this year and play, well, then he's not going to get paid eventually is what he wants to get worth, right? So I think at the end of the day, when you look at these guys and these athletes, it's all about leverage, right? Mbappe tried to, leverage the situation, the reports with Saudi Arabia, and then, you heard the leaks that Real Madrid was going to offer 180 million euros. Harden, the Clippers wanted him badly when they really didn't want him at all. So it's all about leveraging them, right? And I think that's
exactly what he's doing. He's smart. He's got smart people around him. He knows exactly what he's been doing the last little while. Trying to get this move to Real Madrid this year, not going to happen, then I'm not going to play. But now, in the end, he's in a brand new bumper deal with even more money.
Yeah.
Last year, he got a new deal, remember? Last year, with ownership stake in the club. But what else do you want? Not enough for him.
Yeah.
He wants more.
And he's in a great position. He's the best player in the world. It's him and Haaland, but we saw what he did.
He's better than Haaland.
We saw what he did at the World Cup. Like that's like you'll accept the baggage and the bullshit to get that any day. So that's why he's always going to be in a fantastic position, whether it's with PSG, maybe even Saudi Arabia. Who knows where he goes. But
that's why be a dickhead, but be a dickhead in your prime, not like James Harden, who's at the end
James
of his career.
James Harden's been a dickhead for the last, the end of his prime. But like you said,
because your talent has
to. Is he a post-prime dickhead?
He's a post-prime dickhead.
Dickhead, You know what's frustrating about James Harden too is that he is one of the best basketball players I've seen in the last 10 to 15 years. Like, no question. But when he retires and you look back on it, no one will look at him that way as much because of all this stuff off the court, unfortunately. But he should be looked at as one of the best pure scorers in NBA history.
Yeah, same thing with, I think, honestly, at this point,
Kyrie's phenomenal.
But also Embiid. Because if you're looking at Embiid right now, which is why I think he might ask for a trade, because you're as great of a player as you are, you've won MVPs, you've got all the accolades except the championship. You haven't even gone to the Eastern Conference Finals yet. So that is a pretty big. That's crazy. That's a big stain on your reputation. So at that moment, that matters. And that matters to you, which I think to Embiid it does more than money. Where Harden, I think he cares more about money than the actual accolades there. I think Embiid's gonna ask for a trade at that point too, because they care about this kind of stuff. They care about what their legacies will be like one
I don't think Harden does.
No, Harden's a different beast.
If he was fine with going back to Houston, the worst team in the NBA, just for the money, did I tell you
he went to the Las Vegas strip club a day before he played in the NBA playoffs.
How bad do you think he wants to make that NBA Cup final in Las Vegas?
Nah, you know what?
They're probably rooting for him to get there.
We got to get there.
Well, your boy Harry Kane can finally get off the schneid by getting a couple handout trophies now too.
Well, he had. Germany. What do you mean? They just lost 3-0.
Yeah, but they're gonna win the Bundesliga anyway.
I don't know about that. Do we want to go? Okay, so we got Swamp Ass, Lucas Glover. We got Harry Kane. I don't really want to talk about Krejci.
We could go Swamp Ass just a little bit.
Swamp Ass a little bit.
You can't just leave Swamp Ass.
Exactly.
And Okay, Ellie's telling us to go in order, so he's running the show today. So in case you don't know, Lucas Glover just won his second PGA Tour tournament in a row. Congrats to him, 43 years old, back-to-back, has a chance of making the Ryder Cup team. At least he wants to be in it now. But everyone's talking about his pants.
Is everyone or just you?
No,
everybody.
it was all over social
I
media.
remember
It was?
tuning in,
Okay.
and I'm like,
All
what's
right.
wrong with his pants? I'm like, oh my God. It's pure swamp ass for Lucas. And I feel bad. Like, we should be talking about how good this guy is right now, beating out that field at the St. Jude Classic. But,
Bro,
I mean, he's got some heavy-duty
yes,
swamp ass.
Don't golfers have stylists that picked up their outfits for
Well,
them?
I mean, it was 111 Fahrenheit.
That's why you wear
What-
black
enough,
pants,
yeah.
man.
What's
You gotta
that
get a swamp
degrees?
ass.
What's 111? Like 40?
It's a shitload.
Yeah, I think it's like 40-something. Trust me, in Mexico, the last day that I was there, 44 degrees.
Oh, too
You
much.
stand outside and you sweat. Like, so I
Yeah,
can't even
yeah.
imagine. You're playing 18 holes with khakis on, playing golf.
Maybe
What
khakis
pressure
weren't
of
the right
trying to win
choice.
that
Yeah.
thing.
I would be wearing black,
Black pants.
even though they absorb the heat.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's so
you're-
much
you're showing less
technology in those
swamp ass.
pants
Yeah, no,
nowadays.
100%. You can't show stains on a black. It's the easy way to go.
True, yeah.
The guys
You know?
won back-to-back PGA events, right?
Massive.
And we're talking about his ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what the people want to
Yeah.
talk about. Who cares?
Congrats to Lucas Glover, and I do hope you make the Ryder Cup.
He's
I
not
know
making the Ryder Cup team.
A lot of
Well, I
people
mean,
want
well,
Justin Thomas.
He
to
made
go over,
3.7 million, right?
Yeah.
And he's made 3.6 in his career up until
Yeah.
this
well, he hasn't had a
past
great
week.
He hasn't had a great season.
No, but I mean, he's equaled his all-time career earnings
Yeah.
in a week.
Yeah.
He's going to qualify for the BMW Tour,
Yeah.
the Tour Championship, maybe the Ryder Cup. He's good enough,
Yeah, he'd have to be a captain pick,
Yeah.
which would be difficult, but
but
you
he's the
never
man
know.
in form.
Yeah.
I mean, does the swamp ass factor into that? Do you want to pick someone on your team in the
Well,
Ryder
that's
Cup
the big thing. Everyone's
if
like,
you have that kind of sweatage?
yeah. Well, why not, right? And I think the Americans wear navy blue pants.
Is it in the States
he's
or is
good.
it in Europe?
It's in Rome.
Oh,
It's in Rome.
when in
In
Rome?
end of September.
Ooh,
So it's a little bit cooler.
Yeah.
A little bit cooler in
Yeah,
Rome.
yeah.
I mean, summer in Rome's hot. You get swamp ass.
I want all
I say,
swamp
yeah,
ass.
it's
Like,
been like a heat alert.
yeah.
They're gonna be
Listen,
struggling.
I've been there. Maybe not that bad, but you get some serious swaz going in the heat sometimes.
get
Nah,
the-
you got to be strategic, man.
You ever wear jeans in like 40-degree weather? Like you got to go somewhere, so you got to put some pants on. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, this is bad.
Yeah,
If I take these bad boys off,
I see a trajectory towards the Jort story again. Right
please
now.
don't.
But let's not do that. No.
no, we're not doing the George story anymore. So shout out to Lucas Glover. Listen, he's had a rough season. I think he missed the cut every single designated event. Didn't play in any majors, but somehow he's got back-to-back. He's figured out his putting. So I hope he makes the Ryder Cup. Be a great story. 43 years old, playing against the big guns, playing on that
I don't
team.
think so.
You don't think
Have a
so?
wet
I know.
ass.
Yeah.
No.
No?
Swaz. I think they call it swaz.
Swaz?
Yeah,
We didn't get an
swaz.
image up here, did we?
Yeah, we
Of his
showed
bum?
it.
Oh, we did.
Some
Okay.
yeah,
You sure you want to see it again?
Let's see it
Yeah,
again.
a
Let's
little
just
bit.
show off some
Yes,
swaz.
there we go. Can
Lucas Glover. Put those pants in like the Smith.
Are we able to
Smithsonian.
zoom into the? No, I.
Why do you want to
Why
zoom
I
in?
just want to see what's going on. Like,
There's a
what
lot
am I
going on
staring
there.
at?
I don't
He's staring
see-
at his ass.
What
It's
else do you
sweaty.
want to see?
Is there a rip?
Yeah.
No, there's
it's
no rip.
just-
It's just
There's no rip?
sweat.
Oh.
It's just sweat, dude.
It almost
There was a
looks like
point, I think he was coming off the 16th. He ran straight to the cooler of ice and he just dunked his hands and he just stood there.
Over
He's
40
fun.
man to play any sport but golf. I mean, that's a lot, man. That's too
Yeah.
much.
Yeah. Dude, playing 18 holes in the heat will
Yeah.
kick your ass. It really will.
will?
It's just the heat,
I
right?
mean, you win
Yeah.
3.6 million.
I mean, that's why you
That's-
gotta have a 12-pack of beers in the bag.
Yeah.
Cool.
And a
That's
playoff, by the
precisely what
way.
it is.
Even
Yeah,
more.
you do need that.
In a playoff against Patrick Cantlay, who's going to make the Ryder Cup.
Yes.
So that says a lot. Okay, to the next item on the list here. David Krejci. Do we want to touch on him, guys?
Fuck David Krejci.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
What happened there?
to the Canucks? What happened
Oh,
here?
here we go.
Fuck him.
What story is it?
Okay, you can't just say that.
Nah, fuck him. It's obvious why.
He
Oh,
just
that's a lot of
retired after an
F-bombs.
incredible career.
Incredible career.
He won one Stanley Cup
More than me, more than you. Pretty good career.
So why don't you like David Krejci?
because he played for the Boston Bruins,
Oh, okay.
That's the
Well,
only
there he is.
reason.
Beautiful David Krejci.
and they ripped their.
retires.
He also left because he didn't want to play under Bruce Cassidy anymore.
Hall of Famer?
No, please.
What do you think?
Not quite.
You
He's
think
up there.
700 points in the Hall of Fame over 1,000
Just
games played? No
posing
way,
the
bro.
question, man.
No way.
Okay.
No way.
Well,
You
Bruins getting-
triggered something there.
Really
Yeah, I
good
know.
player, but never the superstar in the Bruins.
What are
but
the
a really,
Bruins going to
really
be
good
next
player.
season?
Garbage.
Right? No Bertuzzi.
They've been gutted.
Yeah, they've been gutted.
Yeah.
Big time. Taylor
No,
Hall, right?
Bergeron,
Taylor Hall's
yeah.
gone. Patrice Bergeron, Krejci.
But
Who am I
the Bruins,
missing?
they're probably
Garnet
they'll find a
Hathaway.
way to bounce back. They just do this. That's
I
what the
guess. I mean,
Bruins do.
they still have good goaltending. I mean, that can help them. But
Was it good goaltending? Was they just played on the best team,
yeah, it's true.
right?
But they got two goalies who can get the
Yeah,
job done.
Swayman and
Still, I mean, if you're the Leafs, for example, just to bring them into the equation, yeah, they're very happy about this, seeing that they
Oh,
may not be
absolutely.
improving, but the teams around them aren't improving either.
Yeah, I mean the teams below them are. I think Detroit will be much better now
Ottawa
that they
better.
got.
Yeah.
I think Detroit got better with the Brinket.
I do too, yeah.
Ottawa,
Tarasenko.
Ottawa has to get better, right? They have to get better eventually. Buffalo, it was a 90-point team last year. So look, I think people are saying it's going to be a cakewalk, and the Leafs should finish first in the division. They should, absolutely, they should. But look, the Eastern Conference of the NHL, it's going to be a dogfight, right? And they could get matched up with a pretty hard
Tampa.
first round.
Yeah,
Tampa's
exactly.
a wild card team,
and we'll
right?
know
Yeah.
about it. We'll know about it.
No,
in
how about
November.
this? How about this? How about this?
Exactly.
Pittsburgh gets a wild card spot, and Pittsburgh, Toronto first round next year.
Oh, see, that would be great.
That would be
There's the
theater.
narrative, and that would be amazing.
No, I don't want to see that.
You don't want to see it?
You don't want to see Dubas jumping up and down.
I want
in
to
this
see.
press
All I
box?
want to see is Martin Jones lift the Vezina at the NHL Awards.
He's not gonna.
All right.
I said this. I
I know. I saw you. For some reason, you're going off on a third string goalie. What do you want the guy to do? What do you expect he's going to be?
Sean
Felix
was
Potvin?
the topic was that they thought that he would be the backup goalie, and I said there's no way in hell
that's not
that
crazy
Martin
to think.
Jones is going to be
He
the
might be.
backup goalie.
Joe Wall's got very little experience. It's possible.
Yeah,
I
but
don't
the
think so.
tiniest of sample sizes with Joe
I
Wall.
don't think if Martin Jones will make it out of training camp with the Leafs.
Well,
I
he
don't.
si- he
There's a
signed
good-
a
there's a
deal
good chance.
for $875.
But the problem is he would have to. I think he would have to clear waivers.
Yeah.
So I mean, he'd probably get picked up. Let's be honest.
The best part about this whole conversation is we got a Canucks fan here who really is getting upset about conversations regarding a third-string Leaf goaltender.
Yeah. You know
That's
what I noticed
amazing.
today? With like
You're
just,
coming over to the dark side. I
but just
think.
outside the studio, you're fired up. I don't know what's going on. You're getting mad about everything.
You
You're
know
like,
why? You know
AI's
why?
gonna
Because
take
he was
over
in the captain's
play-by-play.
chair for a week, and now you come back and assume the captain's chair.
Oh,
I
wow.
told you,
I
he
got-
That's why you're
You know,
upset.
I was
he
on
got
cruise
demoted
control.
to this seat. That's
Why is that a demotion?
That's not
Why don't you
In
be
his
happy
head
that
it
you're on
is.
the show? You'll only be happy if you're the host of the show.
No, I'm always happy.
No,
That's
no,
why
it's
I'm
not
Albert,
fair.
face
the,
right
the
now.
digs he threw at you while you were gone.
What
you
digs did
should
I
be
throw at him?
lucky
I
you're
saw. I
sitting
listened.
here right
I
now.
watched.
What digs did I throw at
I
him?
watch. I know how it goes.
I
It's
didn't throw any
okay,
digs at
fine,
anybody.
you know?
What are you talking about?
That's how it's like an
Sure.
injured player, a really good player on the team, and then you get injured, and then the guy who thinks he
The
can take
backup,
the spot,
Yeah, and you
he
keep-
comes in.
Watch out, he's
and-
planning to break your legs
Exactly
right after.
right.
Yeah.
He comes in, tries to pull. What? Not Tanya Harding. Was it Tanya Harding?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Nancy
Tanya
Tanya
Harding.
Harding.
Yeah.
What are you trying to Tanya Harding me for?
Yeah. You
Watch out.
Watch your
You
back.
never steal a man's job through injury or through a vacation.
Yeah.
Well, tell Jameis Winston that. or
Dude, I always talk well about this guy.
I always
big him
talk
up.
well-
I'm like, we got Justin's the guy. We got, and then you see what happens.
Yeah,
See,
in
you
fairness,
just-
you're pretty rough on him too.
But like in a little brother way. I gotta
Yeah,
keep him in
right,
check. He
right.
says some crazy stuff from time to time.
Yeah.
What? Like AI is gonna take
And when you
over
yell at
play-by-play?
Nora, I gotta make
when
sure.
Did I
hey,
yell?
what
I
do
only
you
yelled
do?
at her once.
What?
Oh, lucky day for me. I
But I
guess.
don't have to.
Yeah.
I don't have to like. I don't have to protect Nora's more than capable. Of.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Thank
say.
you.
Yes, more than
Thank you,
capable.
guys.
Does not need the muscle. She is the muscle.
I would not want to go 1v1 with Nora. You're a brave man. You
No, I'm
you
the
lose
brawn.
most of the time though.
No, I don't.
Justin, when have you won?
Always.
Wow.
Undefeated.
Okay, next
Always.
topic, Ellie.
Okay, next topic. We already touched on Neymar, so let's not even go there. NFL preseason. Screw that. I don't want to
Give a
talk
shit
about
Yeah,
that.
do, I might give a shit.
You want to do? You want to do Harry Kane quickly?
Wait, how are you feeling? This is so for those that don't know, right? Tottenham Hotspur, famous striker Harry Kane, 19 years at the club, left for Bayern Munich
Yes.
this past weekend. Spurs fan, beleaguered Spurs fan,
Yes.
devastated Spurs fan. Where are you at right now with the Harry Kane
Well, like I said, I
situation?
knew this was coming for so many years. Like, when is he going to leave? Because Spurs really didn't live up to their end of the bargain while he was there. And he didn't, too, at certain points.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'll never forget that Champions League final. He probably shouldn't have started, but he was horrible in a lot
But you're
of
playing
different
a
finals.
far superior team anyway, right? It wasn't like you were ever going to
Usually
win
it is.
that game.
It's either you're playing a City, you're playing Liverpool, obviously. And they were the better team. They were the best team in the world
that year,
going
yeah,
into that
for
final,
sure.
regardless if they won. But when I got the notification on my phone, I was at No Frills, and I saw it, and my wife goes, "What's wrong?" And I
Oh,
guess my
your
face, and
face.
I wasn't sad, I was angry. I'm like, really? 3
Yeah.
days before the season?
Angry
this
with Harry
happens?
Kane or with the situation?
Just the whole situation. But I was mad at him for a bit too. Because my whole thing with any team that I support, legend or not, once you leave, screw
dead.
you. You're,
Yeah,
you're
that's
like,
how
I
it
don't
should
care.
be.
You're not on
Yeah.
the team anymore.
Right.
Thanks for your service. I appreciate it. But whatever. Now
Will
you
you
move on.
welcome him back one day?
Absolutely.
Like
I mean, earlier on,
center
he-
field, you
yeah.
know, the entire
Listen,
stadiums.
the
They love Harry Kane.
The cut is deep and it's fresh. So
Yes, of
you have a
course.
lot of
Yeah.
Spurs fans saying, "Screw him! I can't believe he did this. Why didn't he just stay one more year? Blah blah blah. Why
He
didn't he sign
stuck
extra
around
contract?"
longer than he should have done.
Exactly. But listen, the same thing happened when Berbatov went to Manchester United.
Mm-hmm.
We were fuming. Come on, you really going to Manchester United? But now he's loved. He comes to the stadium all the time.
Gareth Bale, same
Gareth
thing,
Bale.
right?
Oh yeah, but
So-
you know what the thing with Gareth Bale? You knew that was coming before the end of that season. He never came out and said anything similar to Harry Kane, but
Mm-hmm.
you knew that was going to get done. And you're like, okay, with Bale leaving, he's going to Real, and Spurs are getting $100+ million. How can you be upset with that?
Right.
How Spurs chose to spend that money? that's a whole different story.
Well, if you think about it, the money that came in, 100 million for a 30-year-old, is astronomical. On his last deal, last year of his
I
deal,
think they
right?
should've
Usually
got
the
more.
price comes way down for
should have
that.
been more sharks.
So Daniel Levy, who Spurs fans hate, did a great job there. Great business. He drew it. At first, the bid was 50 million.
Yeah.
He got 100 in the end.
Yeah. I think the number he started at was like 120, and that's like negotiation. You start high, and then Bayern comes in low. But I think in every negotiation, a team has a minimum number. If they hit that number, then we got to do what's best for business. Listen, you're gonna get almost 100 million for Harry Kane. You got to do it, and I still think that they could have gotten more. He is one of the best outside of Holland players in that position. And I don't care that he's 30 years old. For some reason, people seem to think 30 years old, like he's done. Karim Benzema has had the best part of his career from like 32 to 35. He won a Ballon d'Or, another Champions League.
Yep.
Without Ronaldo, without Bale.
And he's not as if he's known for his pace.
Exactly.
So he'll be just fine.
The biggest issue, and you mentioned this off air, is his ankles.
Right.
How long will that last? But I think in his mind, he's like, I'm going to go to Bayern. We can really challenge for the Champions League. I can win a couple of leagues, a couple DFB Pokals, come back, play 2 seasons at 34, 35 years old in the Premier League, and break Alan Shearer's record.
Yeah.
Yeah. But at the same time, if I'm Harry Kane, I think it's a bad decision because at the end of this season, he would have been a free agent, no contract. He would have been able to choose any team.
Yeah.
Real Madrid still need number 9. I still think, I know Holland was there, but I think he would have been in for Manchester City, Manchester United, Liverpool, Chelsea.
No, there'll be
PSG.
outside of City, because like you said, you got Holland. There'll be 18 teams.
Oh my God.
So you could
bidding
have
for
gotten
him.
more money then too, right?
I think so, but I think Spurs were painted into a corner where it's like we either sell him now or we lose him for free.
Yeah.
You can't
And they
do
just
that.
weren't in a position
And
to do
I
that.
think Harry Kane did what's best for Spurs too. He knew. Also.
I do too.
Yeah.
I'd
I
rather
do
at
too.
least get something for this club
Yeah.
before I leave. Right. His first appearance on the weekend for Bayern Munich. By the way, they lost in the Super
3-0.
Cup. So maybe he's got to leave Bayern Munich to win trophies.
Oh, you never know. You never know. By the way, goal
Maybe
of the
it's his
season
fault.
in that game, Danny Olmo. I don't know if anyone saw that goal. It was unbelievable.
Missed
Yeah.
it.
But anyway,
Goal of the season.
I
already?
want to ask though, because you.
yeah.
Before
So
the season
far,
begins?
go and watch it. Go and watch
no,
it.
it's a great goal.
It was a great goal.
I want to ask. 'Cause you talked about just like the gut wrenching feeling of Kane.
It sucks. It's like
leaving.
you're kicking the
What was the
nuts.
worst moment, the divorce per se, with you and your favorite player on your favorite
Oh,
team?
that's
Are you
good.
That's a
kidding
good
me?
question.
I woke up in the middle of the night, 4 o'clock in the morning, to see Messiah Ujiri. Actually, no, Kawhi Leonard had just left Toronto, and that I don't think I'll ever get over.
You know
I'd
what?
still
It
look
was like the
back.
Harry Kane thing where you knew it was coming.
Yeah.
You hope it didn't.
It's
though.
not quite the same.
But
is it?
you know why? I think it was
'Cause there's a
because
trophy
I had
and a ring.
diluted.
Very
Yeah,
true.
that's very true.
Yes.
And about a month after, you had just won that. So I had deluded myself into thinking, okay, he just went to Niagara. Maybe he wants to check out the scenery nearby. He went on vacation with a Shoppers Drug Mart bag. Maybe he has optimum points. That really means sticking around. So you're trying to like convince yourself that he's going to stay. And it made so much sense that you just won a championship. The team's intact. You could have the pathway ready for you the next 2-3 years. So it all just made sense. But when he chose to leave, I don't think I'll ever get over that.
So you're asking the question when people
So,
leave
like, yeah,
on
a
their
guy-
own volition, not from a trade, but they
a
ask
player-
to leave and or free agency.
Yeah,
Oh,
either
both?
or.
Or
Well,
or
a trade, if they could request a trade or whatever.
Right.
Like, did whatever player on a team that you support left for whatever reason, and it felt
okay.
like gut wrenching.
Well, when Wendell Clark was traded to the Nordiques
Oh,
for Matt Sundin, who the hell is that? It broke my heart because I loved Wendell. I loved him, and that was a tough one. And then more recently, when Raheem Sterling left Liverpool at 17 years of age for Man City, and he won trophies, but he came through Liverpool. They invested in him. It's a good young team. He could have done wonderful things at Liverpool, but went for the money. It paid off in the end for him. I know it did, but that was painful.
For me, Russell Wilson, when he requested a trade from the Seahawks.
oh yeah, that's a big one.
I unfollowed him on Instagram, unfollowed him on Twitter, and to this day, I never. That guy's dead to me now.
But that season was like you saw it. That was like the beginning of the end.
Yeah, I mean, like he came, but the thing was, he was a liar though. He was like saying, "I never want to leave here. I never did this," but what he's telling his agent behind the scenes, these are the 4 teams I want to be traded to, right? Like, if you're on my team that I support and you want to get traded, then just come out and say, "I want to get traded," right? Ryan Kesler, when he played for the Canucks, he requested a trade. I don't want to play in Vancouver anymore. Okay. At least you came out and said, I don't want to play for the team anymore, right? Don't lie to us and think that we're stupid as fans, that we can't see through your bullshit. Just tell us the truth, right? And he didn't, and that's why I hate him.
Vince Carter still cuts me to my core, dude.
There's one for you.
He was like my
quit
guy. He was my
Islanders.
idol. He quit on the Raptors big time. And then when he came back, anytime he came back with the Nets, the New Jersey Nets at the time, killed the Raptors.
Yeah.
killed them.
That
He
might
had
be
a
number
smart-
one in Toronto sports history, you know.
That's a big
I
one.
think, yeah, I
it's
think-
because
even before
how
Kawhi.
the breakup went down.
Yeah. And how, sorry.
And what he meant, to the Raptors as well. Like, he was the one that really put them on the map with the dunk contest and just being that guy. So
He was so good.
that was a rough one. I do agree though, where you say like once that player is gone, you're like F you, I don't care about you. And that's how I felt about Lowry. I didn't think I would feel that
Really?
way because I obviously loved him, but when he left, I was like, okay, bye. You're their problem now. I don't care.
What about Fred?
No, don't care.
Don't care?
Kawhi's the
No?
only one. Like to this day, I'll still watch 45 minutes of his game. Watch him on the bench if he's not even playing. Like I don't really care. But that's a different like maybe just when you see greatness, it's different, Justin.
I really,
Why-
I really
but-
hope he has
you're-
one more
you're
Kawhi
making
season. in
You're
him.
making my argument for me why Kawhi is the only reason the Raptors won a title.
No,
You just made my argument for me.
I don't even want to.
I don't know. Honestly,
Greatness.
I don't know how far they get without him.
They
right?
don't, but he needed us too. Look at him right with the Clippers. He
Who
has all
stops Giannis in that Bucks series, right?
Kawhi.
If he's not there.
Oh, if he's not there, nobody.
Right?
Oh, Marcus Gasol. And Ibaka could have double teamed that. They
Stop.
could have. I mean, they could have
Oh,
given him
yeah,
a
yeah.
shot. They could have.
Stop.
One of the worst
They,
ones for
first
me
of all,
too. Go ahead.
they would have never even gone past Philly if it wasn't for Kawhi.
Probably not.
Okay, yeah.
They
he
didn't beat
was
would
the
have been
one.
a
shot.
conference
The shot.
final.
Okay,
Yeah,
but
I'm just
he needed Norman Powell and Fred VanVleet and Kyle Lowry.
We
So
the
don't lie
norm.
about that.
Remember We the
Whatever.
Norm? Remember those days?
Yeah.
No, one of the worst ones for me, you'll remember this, Sol Campbell.
Go to Arsenal.
And becoming the captain.
That was a tough one, actually. It's great.
Winning a Premier
Judas.
League. Pure Judas.
Yep. Ashley Cole
Yeah.
as well.
Well,
Went
now
to Chelsea
now,
from Arsenal.
Now
Oh,
Sol,
when
Ashley
Chelsea
Cole, they called
dropped
him.
Torres, that hurt a lot.
and now
too.
Sol Campbell is a horrible manager, gets fired everywhere he goes. You know what?
Mourinho?
Anyway,
Still one of the best centre backs to ever play in the Premier League.
I know. But we still have Ledley King, who should have been a Premier League champion.
100%.
Yeah,
Yep.
Talk
Yep,
about a
big
guy who
lead.
never trained because he couldn't.
Knees.
Anyway, sad times. I'm getting sad now.
I know.
Harry Kane. I'm optimistic about this season. I don't think top 4. I don't even think top 6. But exciting football.
But
I think.
exactly. Isn't that like better than having expectations?
Oh,
now?
dude, if you
can
watch
just watch
Tottenham the
freely,
last 3 to
yeah.
4 seasons, it was unbearable.
Yeah.
Like Mourinho, Conte, great managers, horrible, boring style.
No, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, at least with Ange, like
one-
it's attacking football now. 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1, whatever they're playing. So
I think that the first week of the Premier League was outstanding.
yeah, it
actually.
was.
So many great storylines, great narratives.
Standout moment for you?
Standout moment for me? Oh, that's a good question. Let me think about this.
The
for a
Liverpool
little bit
Chelsea
here.
game was fantastic.
Yeah, you know the Salah goal that was disallowed was a shame, but the Diaz goal, that counter attack,
What a pass.
over 15 seconds, it was incredible. All starting with that McAllister pass.
Yeah.
Brilliant game actually, and Chelsea maybe should have won that game, but in the end, probably a fair result.
I will say this. So last week I was very high on Aston Villa. I thought they could potentially be a top 4, and they
Top four
got
is a
pumped
stretch.
by fucking Newcastle 5-1.
Yeah. People forget how difficult it is to make top 4, especially this
Well,
season.
I think it was-
Chelsea's back. United are going to be even better. Manchester City, I mean, look what they did. I know it's Burnley. I get it. But still, I mean, Mateo Kovacic getting into that midfield, he comes off the bench for an injured Kevin De Bruyne. No one else in the Premier League has that depth. Kovacic can start for any team in the world, by the way.
Yeah.
And I think he ended up being one of the best players for Manchester City this season. Arsenal are going to be better.
I'll say one thing that stood out to me. Luka Kolyosho plays for Burnley.
Yeah.
Got called up by Canada this past
That's
year.
right, yeah,
Wasn't capped. And now over the summer he played for Italy's U21s. I think he may have made his mind up.
Oh, boy.
Seeing that boy play, he is going to be something. Playing out wide for Burnley, obviously lost against Man City, but showed some real flashes. Did really well in Spain, and there are great hopes around about him being convinced by John Herman to play for Canada. I don't know it's going to happen now, and just when you see that kind of ability with a guy that could play for Canada but probably isn't going to play for Canada now, it grinds me a little bit.
A couple of
It's a
Canadians in the
shame.
Premier League. Daniel Jebison plays for Sheffield, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we might see him. Sheffield's probably going down.
Well, they lost the
think so.
first.
Yeah.
Yeah, listen, the promotion clubs had a difficult time in
Luton
week 1.
Town.
Yeah, well, Luton, no, they can't even play at home right now because the stadium's not finished just yet.
Yeah. What'd you think of all the added injury time?
See, I like the concept. It sucks all the injury time, but I like the yellow cards for dissent and wasting time.
Love that.
They've got to crack down on this stuff, right? It kills games, and so far, week 1, the referees are doing their job, but we'll see if it continues.
So the games average a total of 13 minutes per game in terms of injury time, which put another way is over a 38-game season, each team will effectively be playing an extra 5.5 matches. based
That's
on
nuts.
It's a
injury
lot of
time
football.
alone.
Wow.
It's a lot of football.
10 years ago, that
There was
extra
11
time?
minutes in the first half of the Tottenham game.
Yeah, I remember like when I used to watch back in my day, it was like 3-4 minutes extra time. You're lucky if you got 4 minutes extra time.
And it was easy to
actually.
predict. You'd be watching
Yeah.
it was about 4
Yeah,
5
exactly. But
That's
now
nuts.
I see
5
it.
and a
Now
half
it's like
matches.
10. I'm like 10. What do
Yeah.
you mean? It's a whole other quarter. for
So
them to
don't
have
waste time. Don't cheat.
It's true.
Right.
But it's going to
Kills
happen.
me.
Because now they have a separate watch to calculate when the ball goes out of bounds, substitution.
Players should learn, though, you would think.
You would think.
Well, I saw Trent Alexander-Arnold get a yellow card for time wasting, on
Yeah.
a throw-in, right, which you'd never see in the past. Some players back-chatting the referee or trying to get yellow cards for other players getting yellow cards. I like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's going to be some growing pains
Gamesmanship.
there, but it'll take a while.
Well,
but
current and former players are weighing in. Andros Townsend, who I think he's without a club at the moment. He was at
yeah,
Watford,
he
his
was,
last
with,
club.
he was with Everton.
Yeah, he was with
and he did his
Everton.
Achilles. He missed it last year.
So he said, he goes, listen, I would still time waste. He goes, I was doing that before, so players are going to do that. Yeah, Mikel Antonio talking about it. He goes, he doesn't like it. He goes, if we're down 5-0, I don't want to see 10 minutes injury time.
Right.
And then you have Callum Wilson saying, well, if I'm a striker coming off the bench at the 60th minute, at least I know with injury time, I'm going to get at least 45. I can score a few more goals. So you can look at it so many different ways.
No, it's a valid point, actually.
Right?
Yeah, the
But
players
what
do
if,
want the time.
What if you're, I don't know, let's say you're Newcastle. You're up 1-0 against Manchester City, and they're given 10 minutes of injury time
Yeah,
in the
that's
second
not-
half. It's going to benefit teams like that
Yeah.
and teams that have depth as well.
But we saw at the World Cup, right? We saw at the World Cup happen. It's happening right now with the Women's World Cup as well. But once the knockout phases began, it kind of shrunk a little bit. So we see what happens in the semi-finals of the Women's World Cup. But I like the concept.
I do
is
too.
Is it executable really on a weekly basis? Because he likes to 5.5 extra games a year. That's a lot of football.
That's,
for these guys.
that's
lot
what
of
Rafa Van
mileage.
was talking about. He's like, what do you want us to do? Like, he literally retired from international football because there's too many games.
Yeah, yeah.
And now add in some more time.
So is load management going to become a thing in the Prem now?
That's the same
You
thing.
need the depth
Yeah.
for that. Like Manchester City, they've been doing that, but
Yeah.
many teams like Arsenal
don't.
can't even do that.
And that's why you need bigger squads, really,
Massive
for
squads.
injuries and all this stuff. At the same time, the smaller clubs don't want that because the big clubs have so much depth. Man City can
Run
take
2-3
a great
squads.
player and bring on a Phil Foden or something,
Yeah.
right? And it's not really fair.
It's not fair, dude.
No.
And then they're going after Lucas Paqueta from West Ham. Come
Yeah,
on.
it's going to
Let's
happen as
come
well.
on. It's going to happen.
Life's not fair, though.
The Premier League
I know,
transfer
it's not
window
fair.
is going to heat up real soon.
One transfer
because-
I am upset about: James Ward-Prowse to West Ham.
Why are you upset about that?
I don't want him to go to West Ham.
Why?
I want him to go to like a top 6 club in the Premier League.
I think he's too old. I think
West Ham.
Ship sailed,
I think West Ham can be relegated this year. Why not? They lose Lucas Paqueta.
they've made some nice signings. I think they're going to be okay. I really do.
We'll see. Did you guys do your Premier League predictions? I don't know if you guys did that.
Through Premier League predictions?
Yeah. No, I'm just asking. Did you guys do it like last week?
Oh, yeah.
442picks.ca.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Have you checked it out yet, Sharms?
I have. It's outstanding, actually. You can win a lot of money.
Yes.
I don't think we can, though. I don't
No,
think we can.
I don't
We'll be
think
in
we
there,
can.
though,
We
entering.
can be
But
in
if we
it.
win, we've got to donate it.
Yeah, so don't forget, check out
Not happening.
442picks.ca for your chance to win how much? $250,000.
Wow, so
All
half
you
a
got-
week of Neymar salary. and
That's
salary.
it, man. All you got to do is sign up, predict the upcoming match day outcomes. Completely free to play, by the way. Weekly and monthly prizes all season long, and a grand prize, as I mentioned, $250,000. It's free to play, so go to 442picks.ca. Make sure you play. We're going to do our picks this week as well.
Try and beat myself, Albert, and Pereira. Just try.
How do we do?
Good
We
luck
did all
with
right.
that.
I don't think we did all right last season. We weren't too bad.
I'm historically terrible.
Financially, though, the account wasn't looking too bad
No,
until you bet big on something that didn't happen. I can't remember what it was.
not this weekend.
No, I think during the NHL playoffs.
Yeah, there was something stupid.
Oh, the Oilers,
I got
wasn't it?
carried
No, he
away.
had the
It was
Oilers.
Oilers. It's just bloody Oilers.
That was the Oilers. Yeah, I remember it because we
That's
talked
right,
about
it
it.
was
so
the
confident
Oilers.
before the Vegas series.
Yes. Oh, Sharms. Well, we have a chance. we have a chance to make up for it.
How much was the bet? Ellie's asking. For me, it was a lot. For me, and that's $50.
50
which he's going to
bands.
laugh at because that's nothing for this degenerate
Yo,
over here.
Albert's
Come
crazy
on.
though. Albert's nuts. Albert's like
Albert's
a whole
nuts.
animal. You put in like 200.
Oi.
$1,000.
Christine, they're only joking.
I've seen his bet slips, guys.
Yeah,
We're only
Albert's
joking,
nuts.
honey.
Mortgage.
Tell my wife. All right, I think that's it for the Homestand Show. It's great to be back. Great to see you. Even though
awesome to have you
Even though you
back.
want to stab me in the back and take my spot, Nor Zainab, I love you. James Sharman, I love you as well. We'll be back tomorrow with more Homestand Show right here on the Homestand YouTube.